So we took delivery of this Porsche 944 1989 edition, same age as me, the other week. Have a look on the video how it arrived. I bought it without seeing it. The owner, or previous owner, was honest with the issues. Fuel relay issue, wouldn't start properly, all the rest of it. Bodywork, absolute nightmare. You're going to see this week the world's worst wheel nuts you've ever seen, and if we can get them off. The headlights don't work, and that's one of the main features of the 944, so I'm going to try my best to get them working. We're going to put a new battery in, and the main one is the fuel relay. Can we get this starting of its own accord without having to hot wire it and bridge stuff together? Stay tuned to see how all that unfolds here at Drive Aspect. Bang, battery time. First thing we're touching on the car is the battery, because the old battery knackered. So we went for this one, bigger output, longer warranty, best for the best. That's what we're going for. So 13mm spanner, battery is located passenger side rear, hasn't got a battery strap. It will have when we're finished, but at the moment it doesn't. So 13mm spanner, I've already slackened off the nuts. Obviously keep your cables out the way, don't start touching them together and all the rest of it. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but it'll come out. There we go. So that's the old battery, Halford special. This is the new battery. It's all social media's been about lately, batteries. And that's because the winter kills your battery. There is a way to put it on properly, positive or negative first. I'm not really bothered. Makes no difference. Especially on this car. Makes absolutely zero difference. So, we have life. These connections are loose, but they're pretty tight on there. I'm not going to nip them up because I'm going to take it back out and isolate it, but I'm going to move the front now to where the problem is. We're back at the front. The car got delivered to us with this wiring. So, fuel pump relay being bypassed, basically everything's been joined together. Then the previous owner, we are now the new owner, had this in the fuse for the fuel pump inside the vehicle, so you can literally just take the fuse out to stop all power, because when it's joined together like that and the ignition's on, continuously going to send power to the fuel pump. When you turn the ignition on, it will continue. So we isolated it by just taking the 15 amp fuse out. So as it stands, that's the way it's wired up. I have disconnected that, and I'm just going to put the fuse back in to the fuel pump relay fuse. The next step is whip round and see if it'll start when I find the keys. It has got a nightmare toad alarm on, so it mightn't start first time, or it might set the alarm off because we've had the battery off. We are going to do a shout out to get this alarm removed. I don't really want to be messing around with it, but the amount of wiring I'm going to have to do, I'm probably going to come across it and take it out myself. But if you know how to do it, let us know. Well, we have lights on. Is it going to start? No. We'll try it again. This is how flipping stupid it is. There you go. So, it's running, but if I took that relay off, power would obviously die to the fuel pump, which is down here, and then it would cut out. But in all fairness, it ran when we brought it off. It's running that good actually, because when we brought it off, we had to reverse it off the ramp because it was seized up. But that wheel should be spinning, I think, because that was freed off the most. There she is, the only one that's spinning. Well, that tells me we've got 10% life in the old horse. So she must want to be fixed. Just trying to get out of here that quick. We have one wheel turning. The other one's obviously still seized a bit. Let's see if we can give it a push. Oh, I thought I was going to get it. Oh, oh! Wait! Oh, no, it's gone. Let's have another go. See if I can get it kicking off. Oh. Nah. 1 horsepower. That's all we've got. So, as it stands, new battery's on. We can get it started, we can get it running, but it's not correct. So I'm going to have to chase the wires back and see why the relay is not turning on and off when it should be. But other than that, she's a runner and she's got one wheel spinning, which is always good. Hopefully we'll have the other one spinning when we free everything off, but that's in a lot of videos time. As it stands, she's a runner. Good stuff. Right, replace battery, we've done that, that's off the board. Next we're going to go up to the fuel pump relay and start. I bought one, here it is. Apparently it worked, it didn't work. So I've managed to find a brand new one, only in Sheffield, 10 mile away. Come in its box. We're going to try that and hopefully that works. If it doesn't, I feel there's a bit of an issue underneath. But we've done the link up where we bridge everything and it starts. And 9 times out of 10, that means the relay is knackered. And these are that bad for the relay. People keep 2 or 3 relays in the fuse box just to do it, or one of these jumper cables, so if they do get an issue with the relay, they can pull it out and put the jumper cable in and the fuel pump will still run and run the engine. So we have got here brand spank. I've had it out to make sure it was new, brand spanking new, still in its box. And people are charging a fortune for these on the internet because they know how common they are. I've been looking and got this for an absolute steal. It's brand spanking new, so we're going to try it. Let's go over to the car. So beforehand, or when we got the car delivered, we had this wire that was connected into the fuse board, and in the vehicle there was a 15 amp fuse, and that's what disconnected the power on and off to the fuel pump. Then we had the bridge connection, so positive, negative and earth all together. With that on, fuse on, it would start, but obviously that's not the right way. So we know that that works. We've got a picture of this just in case we've got to go battery, but we're going to remove that. We're going to install this, it only goes one way. That's not connected to anything anymore. Now hopefully, when the ignition's on and it starts to fire up, the fuel pump's going to run. Fingers crossed. It'll either start or it won't start. It's very thirsty animal this, so if the fuel pump stops, pressure stops, the car will die straight away. So it will not start if this doesn't work. Get back in. Check the daft alarms off. No. Daft lad here, still got the battery off. So, put the battery on. This is just being a noise here because I'm finding a lot of connectors disconnected, which we'll go on to in a later video of what we found, because I thought we were going to have a massive problem on our hands, and we don't. But I'm going to go into that later on. The rear boot mechanism was disconnected, and that's electric. Even though this car's 38-year-old, 37, 38-year-old, we're discovering there's a hell of a lot of high-end electrics on here, in things I think they were testing to bring out on future models, which we will go into. It's starting to become a history piece. I'm learning a lot every day. Anyway, battery's on. Ignition's on. The alarm's still on. The alarm is off. There we go. I think that's why that was disconnected. Right. I don't know. That is just going round in circles. I have just disconnected this back up. Right, we have sanity. That is possibly why things are disconnected. I reckon we're getting interference. I don't know. Is the relay not working? I don't know. Could be an easy fix. So the fuse that should be in the fuse box that we're taking out because it keeps everything running. I took it out because like I'm a bit on top of everything. Disconnect the battery, take the fuses out until we know everything's ready. Now if I put that back into there and the relay works, it will start. This thing, that is another problem. So as you've seen there, it wouldn't start at all. It fired up, that was the last bit of fuel in the lines, and then the fuel pump wasn't on, so it wasn't pumping any fuel through. So it's either going to work or not work. Works. All because of a fuse. That spinny thing over there, boot release. So if I connect this back up just for a laugh, because this was disconnected, and obviously if it's disconnected it's for a reason. But bits at the front were disconnected, and I've connected back up and they're fine. This is strange. So you should press a button at the front and it should move probably half a turn and release the two pops to release the boot continuously on. Where's the button? What's this button do? Oh! Oh! There's actually something really good about it. Are you ready? Are you steady? That's the little Dixie horn. There you go. I don't know where the button is for this bonnet boot release. So we know the motor works, which is not really a problem I want to delve into right now. Thank the Lord. I don't know where the button is on the dashboard, the boot release button. Fuel relay, problem fixed. I think I'll just check that it's turned itself off. Off. Yep, on. You can feel it vibrating a bit, but you can feel the fuel pumping through it. Even though it's got no fuel in, but it is working. That there is problem fixed, completed. So what we can do now is go back round and tidy that back up. Because we took the pins out, so that is old one. We don't need that. So we'll screw them back in, fix the fuse board back down. Obviously we're going to be delving back in this fuse board quite a bit. Luckily enough, it's quite well preserved, this. So it tells us everything that's on there, which is really good to have. But I don't want to go into this too much. Obviously I want to try and start getting some bodywork issues sorted out, because that's where the majority of the time's going to be spent, I believe. Obviously we are mapping out the plan of what we want to do with it when it's done, but fuel relay and start completed. So that'll start all the time now on the turn of a key, which is really good. What I can do is show you what we found out the other day, because these wouldn't work, the famous pop-up headlights. Now for some reason it was disconnected here, which I thought there would be a major issue with it, but if you want to, I'll show you them popping up. Probably the fastest ones popping up, because sometimes you have an issue with these where they're very slow and they'll not come back down. These fly up. So what I'll do is I'll turn the ignition on, flip the knob over, and then hopefully, if you stand back there, cameraman, we'll have some lights. What do you think of that? That's the best bit. Possibly the only bit that's working on it, but the fly up, the fly down, and they've got light. I'm taking that as a big positive from this. The next thing we're going to move on to on the board is wheel off and new studs, and you're going to pan out and go straight down to that wheel, because that is where the problems start. Next job on our whiteboard, remove the wheels. All four wheels have issues with the studs. This is the worst one. I have managed to get the other three off and scrapped two of the bolts on each wheel, cleaned the studs up. Even though the hubs are going to come off anyways, we still need to get the wheels on and off for moving it about and all the rest of it, so I wanted to make sure we weren't going to have the problem again. This is the worst one. I don't know what I'm doing about that, because that is an aluminium wheel stud, and that is everything you see there was the stud. So, and it's got a better circumference than what I have, and I'm pretty round. This is not like a hex nut anymore. This has totally disappeared. I don't know if someone's tried to have a nibble on it, but we have got to get all this off. These here have had caps on, I believe. So what you're seeing in here, I could be wrong, because I've got nothing to go off, but I believe that this was an aluminium cap that is over the time disintegrated, oxidized. So I'm going to clean them off, airline them, try and get these off, then that one, and then probably do a night shift on this one because it might need drilling out and all sorts. I will get it off, but you're going to have to stick around a little bit to see how far we get with it. So let's get them cleaned off, airlined up, and see if we can get them looking a little bit more nice than what they are now. Especially to try and get a socket on. Even these, I wouldn't get a socket on fully in because of the build up at the back of it, where this wheel nut sits on a chamfer, like a dome. Obviously I need to get it back as far as I can. If not, I'm just going to start rounding them off. So come back when I've had a little bit of a clean. 37 years of aluminium oxidisation in the nation. Anyway, that's that cleaned up. Game of Russian roulette. Which one's coming off and which one's not? That one looks like the best one. How many is there? 5. 1 down. Two down. It's starting to go downhill now. I thought I was going to have a problem with 2. I've got a problem with 3. It's going to be a long night. Oh, I thought that was a good one as well. Nice and round. Should we just have a go at that one for a laugh, even though that's pretty much 70%, well, 25% gone. It's going to be a long night, lads. It's going to be a long night. I will not be beaten. This wheel will be off. So it was a long night. 1 hour 45 to get one of the last nut off. We got that one off fine. The first problem one, the second 2 were nightmares. That one not so bad, that one 1 hour and 45 to get that out. So what we've done is we've had to drill it out from the centre and then break the back of the wheel off to crack the back of your nut. There's obviously tapered to fit into the diameter of the wheel, and obviously that's deeper and it's hard to get into. So with a couple of hammer swings and a lot of drill bits, we've got them off without damaging the wheel too much. We are going to sell these on. I might opt to get them powder coated so they're nice and brand new. But we haven't damaged any of the wheels, getting any of the studs off or the nuts off, which I'm surprised with the condition that we're in, because them are horrendous. I'm not going to put new nuts on, because we've opted now not to MOT the vehicle. We're going to build the vehicle and then MOT it. Because the amount of time it's going to be off the road, there's no point, and I'm confident I can get it on the road. So we're going to cross that off the whiteboard. I'm going to order what's under here and what's been leaking, which is the power steering return pipe. It's like a mini coil like you see on whiskey distilleries and stuff like that. That's located just there. This has got a lot of issues top and bottom. That comes as a full coil, 2 pipes, 1 pipe into the reservoir at the top, which is nice and bone dry, and this one goes into the power steering pump, out of there, into the back of there. I'm going to get that replaced, just so when we're moving it about, we've got power steering, but it's a bit of a heavy lump. So we're going to order one of them in. There's a few options, there's a couple of good condition ones in Poland. There's a couple of new ones, but they go for between 200 and 400 quid for that part alone. So hopefully I'm going to try and get a used one, and then we can just prep it, give it a paint, so all this looks nice and shiny, get that back in and get power steering, because at the moment we don't have any power steering. So we're going to go back to the whiteboard and see what we can mark off and mark on. Fuel pump relay, we've done that. That can come off. Wheels off, new studs, we've done that. We're not putting the new studs on because I've got enough studs between the four wheels to keep them on, as long as we don't do any stupid speeds, which obviously we're not going to be doing in that. Bonnet strut, we've got them, but I do like the bit of wood that's holding the bonnet up, so I might keep that for a little while. The next thing to add on that is what we're talking about, power steering, return pipe. Whilst I'm looking for that and finding the one I want in best condition, I've decided to concentrate on the bodywork. Doing so, I'm going to start from the rear and work forward, but doing that as well, I can get my head around the car a bit more, visualise what I want to do with it, understand how it's put together and some other issues that we're going to have. But working on different areas of it will showcase the issues that we're going to have. So I'm going to start in the rear. There's a bit of rust at the top there, so we're going to strip the bonnet seal and everything off a little bit later and start just some prep work to get rid of some rust, or if it's not going to, obviously if it's too much sort of rust damage, we're going to have to replace it. But we're going to start from the back end, come down and then go back to front, whilst doing a little bit in between, like the power steering return pipe. But let's get the bodywork right, because that is the hardest thing on this car. The rest of it, we can strip off, clean off, put bolts in, stuff like that. Not too much of an issue. Bodywork is the big issue. So we're going to tackle that stage by stage and hopefully get it ready for paint. So it's been a busy week here. My hands are dirty, my top's dirty, my hands are sore off all the hammering, the wheel nuts off, but we've had all the wheels off. We've put the nuts back on, the wheels that we've had to, so we can still move it around. Fuel relay, that's working like a dream. Batteries on, holding charge, it's not draining any charge, which is really good. And what else have we done? We have done pop-you-up lights, which I think is probably the best part of the week. So I thought that was going to be an absolute nightmare, and all it was disconnect the plug on the motor. So this week we've accomplished fuel relay, put a new battery in, got the light popping up and down nice and fast, because sometimes they're a little bit slow, and had all the wheels off. The best thing about it is the headlights. Obviously the more I look at it, the more work. I think it's getting worse by the day. I think it's just dissolving round us. But in the next episode we're going to tackle the back end. Going to get the lights out and start sanding, probably from here all the way back, just to clean everything up, because on the bodywork side of it we're going to work from the rear throughout to the front of the vehicle, and hopefully in between all that pick up the spare parts like doors, sills and some other bits we need to get the bodywork underway. That is a long process, so the quicker I can get onto it, the quicker we can get it primed, ready for paint, which is still a long way away, but we've got to start somewhere. So that is this week wrapped up. I'm tired, my hands are sore, but we've done something.